Back to Wolf Dog Empire, and it is soul exchange time. With the power of pause, let's get these highlighted. There you go. Much better. Okay, so one of the things I'll mention here is, and I don't recommend any of these 10 stars. I mean, if you need a sniper, don't go Arfanius, go Dark Lord. He is a red sniper, but I guess if you need a red sniper and you can bring up a red right now. I have Alexandrine maxed out. She was my first 5-star I got. She was my first 5-star that I maxed out. I don't always use her when I only need 6 flags. I use Esme. I even use, because I like boosted healer better. I even use 2x Kirill if I need a second healer. So I don't use Alexandrine that much anymore. But when it's War of 12 Kingdoms and I need to use 60, I always use Alexandrine. I do have Guinevere and I do want to bring her up. But I have 2x June. Before that, I have a 2x Leo. I also have a Pino Light. So, not going to be bringing up Guinevere anytime soon. I also have an Odin. And I have a lot of yellow heroes. Grace is interesting, but I do have 3 of her, so I will not be pulling Grace here at 10. Passive mana on taunt. So you going up against taunt, that taunt hero goes off, she gets mana. She resists burn, so if she's on defense and green, red is used to try to take down that team, she will resist burn just in case red is being used to try to do some burn damage. Her stats 756 attack is just a little under, but it's still fine. 766 defense is just a little under, but it's still fine. 1444 health is good. She is fast, so if you like fast heroes, Grace is fast. She deals 285% damage to the target and nearby enemies. That's pretty good for fast. And the target and nearby enemies cannot cast any new taunt status effects for 3 turns. And she's fast, so she'll usually beat the taunters. So, and then she'll give 3 turns where they cannot get taunt. And then the target and nearby enemies get minus 34% defense against special skills for 3 turns. So that stacks. You can put an elemental defensive down like Phileas Fogg, Evelyn, or even Almor. And then you can do like a different color, off color defensive down, like Costume Finley, minus 56% defensive down. And then you can throw like a Franz, which is going to make them take 50% extra damage, the enemy, extra damage. And that stacks. And then you can hit with Grace also, which is a minus 34% defense against special skills for 3 turns. And since they're all different, they all stack. None of them like replace the other. Franz, you might want to throw Franz closer to the beginning there. You probably want to throw Franz first, actually. So Franz, and then an elemental defensive down like Evelyn or Almor. Yeah, Almor or Evelyn are probably better than Phileas Fogg, because Phileas Fogg only hits 1, so he's only going to put elemental on 1. So Evelyn or Almor. So Franz and then Evelyn. And then a defensive down like Costume Finley. And then Grace. You'd be doing so much damage, it's not even funny. All right. And then there's an elemental link, gives all nature allies immunity to new fiends for 4 turns. This effect cannot be dispelled. So the immunity to new fiends is only against. I mean, it's only for the green allies. But as you can see, when I was talking about how to attack with her, I was talking about with green. There's a lot of people are using blue tanks, but she also doesn't have to be used just with a green team against a blue team. She can also just be used to help with any other team that you may have out there. But this one I have 3, so I'm not going to pick this one, but she's very interesting. And if you don't have Grace, and if you can only do 10, then, and if you don't have Grace and you only have 10, then look at her special. And if that's something that you're going to try to do, then she may be the best option for you. Alexandrine's a good healer. She gives critical chance. Tahir's a good sniper, not the best sniper out there, but he's a okay sniper for 10. It's not bad. Arfania is a good sniper also. Not the best sniper out there, not the hardest hitter, but a good one. But if you can do 15, I would do Dark Lord instead of Arfania's. But Grace does have that very interesting special skill there. I think one of the costumes of Magni, I don't know if it's costume Magni or 2x costume Magni, has that minus defense versus special skills. But she also has all these other things that she does. So Grace is a good one. But I always say, I think they made the 10 more interesting than before. Before, the 10s used to just be a no, no, no. On the 15s, Dark Lord for sure instead of Arfanias. I wouldn't go Akarog. The Taunter, there's a lot of Taunters out there. You can see there's a yellow Taunter. Was it Black Knight? Is red Taunter. So there's a lot of, and there's more Taunters now. So there's a lot of Taunters out there. But she's got a specialty taunt that it's in her minion, so you can't just dispel her taunt with a dispeller because you have to kill the minion. And so you could do something where you can try to bury the minion with other minions so that it's harder to kill. So if you want to do that kind of strategy, then you can try to do that. It's a minion, so there are minion destroyers out there like Grimble. Scotty hits. There's also Gefjon, which will actually steal a minion. So if Gefjon steals that minion, then Gefjon will have taunt. So that's kind of interesting. The Hatter. The Hatter deals 400% damage to the target and minor damage to nearby enemies. Steals all dispellable buffs from all enemies and randomly distributes them on allies. And that's including taunt. If taunt is dispellable on that taunter, so now we're talking about not the Queen of Hearts, because her taunt is not on her. The taunt is on the minion. The minion is the one that has taunt, that gives taunt to the owner. So, but if you're talking about like Dark Lord, if you're talking about Ludwig, but Ludwig can be undispellable sometimes, depending on the family bonus, because you can get up to like 50% undispellable. So if you have 3 of the wolves in the same team with Ludwig, so if Ludwig's taunt is undispellable, then of course the Hatter cannot take it from him. But if Ludwig's taunt is dispellable, then the Hatter could take it and then give it to one of the Hatter's allies, and now you have taunt. The Hatter is very useful whenever people do come up with something that's really strong against you, like Ludwig's taunt. And if it's dispellable, then the Hatter can just and he can take them from a lot of different people. So we're talking about buff boosters where you're encouraged to bring as many buffs as possible so that you can hit harder against the enemy. Well, the Hatter, when that buff booster defense is set and you see that somebody has a lot of dispellable buffs that they could set off, then you can bring the Hatter against them, and you can literally take all those buffs when Hatter goes off, and then you end up with all those buffs, which means then you can hit them better. So does the Hatter have a place in the game? I think he can play well in any raids, in any war, and then he is also a great hero for buff booster, because the enemy is going to put a defense that has a lot of buffs, and then the Hatter can go out there, wait for those buffs to go off, and then just go take them from him and give them to your own allies. So the Hatter is definitely really good plus, or good plus excellent in buff booster. He's like Grimble against minions, the Hatter against in buff booster. He's amazing. But he also works in any and all wars and raids too. You can just bring them in whenever you see that defense has a lot of dispellable buffs. Then you can put Hatter out there. Let me see here. So on the 15th, Dark Lord Hatter, no Akrog, and then Queen of Hearts only if you need taunt in red, and only if you want it to be a minion. Maybe you think you're not going to go up against a Grimble, you're not going to go up against she's not going to be that good on defense, I don't think, because there's Undead Horde. People are starting to bring in a lot of anti-minion heroes. I mean, even like there's like a 4-star Gobbler that can just destroy all minions, including her taunt minion. So on defense, she's not gonna be that good, but I think on offense, she's gonna be really good, because you're gonna bring her whenever you want, and the defense that's out there is not gonna know that you're gonna bring in Queen Anne with taunt, so they may not be able to prepare for her. So you could bring her up, but she's not one of the ones that I would try to get with 15 here. I would go with Dark Lord number 1, Hatter 2, but you can decide which one you want out of these two, because they're both really good. I have a lot of purple heroes for snipers. I do have like 4 or 5 Arfanias in purple. I do have costume Jabberwocky. I do have Konchu. So I have a lot of purple snipers, and I have a lot of purple overall. So I'm not going to pick any purples. So I would go with, for me, I would go, if I had to go 15, I will go Hatter number 1, Dark Lord number 2, or Hatter is what I will get, because I don't want any more purples. But in general, I would say Dark Lord number 1 available, and the Hatter number 2. But I like the Hatter. He's very interesting. So I think it's because I have too many purples already. Okay, moving on to the 20. So we do have Kara. She was a hero of the month. She does taunt. The caster gets taunt that prevents enemies from using special skills on the caster's allies for 4 turns. Okay, so not 3, 4 turns. The caster gets plus 74% defense against special skills for 4 turns. And all allies except the caster get plus 34% attack for 4 turns. So it gives you attack, kind of like Krampus. Elemental Link gives all holy allies plus 10% defense for 4 turns. This effect cannot be dispelled. Passive resists defense ailment, so you can't put defense down on Kara. And mana on buff dispel. So somebody's trying to dispel out there, she gets 10% mana up there, so she can try to do her taunt again soon. But she was a hero of the month, so she was widely available. I believe I have 6 Karas, so I will not be picking a 7th Kara for 20 souls. No. For 20, I mean, unless you need this hero specifically, I wouldn't take them. Unless you want this hero for a specific team that you're going to build around her skills, I wouldn't take Milena. And I have 6 Karas, so I'm not going to take um, Kara. I would say I'm not even going to say 1 or 2 on these two, because I mean, this blue hitter is really, really good. But if you ever try to summons a Gargoyle, if you need a green 5-star hero healer that heals, Arco is amazing. And do you know how hard it is to pull an Arco? Look at the summons uh, percentages on Gargoyles. They're like 10 times harder to pull a Gargoyle than a regular event hero. And I mean, this passive here is probably the reason why. Gargoyle Stone Skin. Every time this Gargoyle casts a special skill, their Stone Skin hardens. The next 4 times they receive damage, it is dropped to just 1 damage. This effect cannot be dispelled. And this is not part of their special skill. This thing is their passive. As soon as they go off, then their passive takes over. And if you ever gone up against a Gargoyle, if you have a really strong hitter that's gonna hit and you think they're gonna kill the Gargoyle because they're low on health, if they have this passive Stone Skin on there, if you see the little icon underneath that hero, then just know whatever hit you're gonna hit is only gonna do a 1 damage. So what do? You have to set off more tiles against them so you can hit it 3 or 4 times, and then once the Stone Skin is off, maybe he's gonna go off again, set off another Stone Skin, or somebody else is gonna go off first in his team and kill you. So it's harder to kill these Gargoyles, and they're super hard to get. Next time you go to the Gargoyle event, it's like a is it like a 0.1 or something to pull a 5-star Gargoyle? 0.1? You need 100 pulls just to try to get one of any of the 5-star Gargoyles. They're really hard to get. Even a 4-star Kalo, a 4-star event, or any of the 4-star event Gargoyles. I've done some pulls where I got 0 Gargoyles at all. Like 10, 15, 20 pulls, and I got 0 Gargoyles. Even the 3 and 4-star Gargoyles are super hard to get. So I think it's that Stone Skin. They're special. They're really tough. So look at their defense too, and that's just on 480. If you click on this here, I mean look at this. Look at this defense. Look at this health. Look at this attack. It's insane. So now I had 0 5-star green healers 3 months ago. 0. I was using Costume Melendor as my top green healer, a 4-star. 0 5-stars. Then I did get Ratatoskr as my number 1 Faded Summons to help me with against Blue Titans and Blue Mythic Titans, and to be my number 1 green 5-star healer, because I had 0 5-star healers in green. Then a little later, I pulled Augustus, so now I have 2. I hope someday to get Costume Mother North, or even Mother North, by Costume Mother North. But for now, I have 2 green healers. I think it's enough already. But if you don't have Augustus, if I didn't have Augustus, I mean, if I only had Ratatoskr, then I would definitely be looking at Arco. You should look at Arco also, actually, because besides that passive Stone Skin, and besides these great stats here, if he's limit broken, 8520, great stats. He runs average and replaces all fiends on all allies with Gargoyle minions. So if you're going up against a fiend dealer like Lubu, Viscaro, there's a lot of Senin, there's a lot of fiend dealers out there, and newer ones are coming up, right? So when those fiend dealers come out, they hit all your team. You wait on Arco. You hold this special on offense. You wait until the fiends land on your allies, and then you set off Arco. If each of your allies have one or two fiends, when Arco goes off, it's gonna convert all those fiends on your allies to minions. And you know how tough these minions are? These minions are tanky. And then he also summons a Gargoyle minion for each ally. So if you had one or two on each ally, he's gonna throw another one on each of your allies. The Gargoyle minion inherits 30% HP and 20% attack from the caster. And I mean, if Marco's the one casting them, look at this. Look at these. So for 30% attack, it's going to be a very strong minion attack-wise. And the HP is also going to be pretty tanky. And all allies' health is boosted by 75 HP for each minion owned by all allies. So just add up all the minions from all 5 of your allies and then multiply it by 75 HP, and you're going to be healing big time. So you can also put Argo along with other minion dealers in your team. So by the time he goes off, maybe you already have some minions on your allies. You can through Freya puts minion on all, and she's fast, so she could go off before Arco on average. So she'll already have minions on your team. And then, so even if you're not going up against a fiend dealer where you're trying to get fiends on you, maybe they don't have some fiends. So then what you can do is you can just pair Arco up with minion dealers like Freya, Costume Freya, because she's fast. But you can also do it with like Sylvaria, who's average. And then everybody gets minions, and then Arco goes off, and then Arco does even more healing because you have a lot of minions. And then Arco puts minions on there to help protect your team. Plus, if those minions are still on you, the next time Arco goes off, it counts how many minions you have, a whole lot of healing. So Arco is a really good healer, and he's super hard to get. So if you think, oh, I'll just pull on the Gargoyle event to try to get Arco, good luck. Just look at the percentage, it's super low. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's like 0.1. But correct me in the comments. But I believe it's 0.1. So other events are like 1%, 1.3%, 1.5%. So for it to be 0.1, wow. It's gargoyles are super hard to get. Even the 3-star I mean, eventually you get the 3-star gargoyles, but I have pulled 0 5-star gargoyles. I pulled 1 Kalo, and I pulled the all the 4 stars and 3 stars from 3 months ago or before. But 5-star gargoyles, 0. So if you have 20 heroes to exchange here, you may want to go for Arco. So I would say not this one, just because you might already have like multiple copies of her. If you have like 3, 4, 5, or 6 of her, you might not need another Kara. No, yes, and yes. So let's take a look at Milena. Passive, mana on special. When this character casts their special skill, they have a 50% chance to give 10% mana to all allies. So 50% chance to give 10% mana to all allies. So that's pretty good right there. If the special skill is fully charged, the chance is 100%. So if you do want to go off on the 2x mana charge. So on offense, you want to try to hold off unless you need some quick little healing. You want to hold off and do the 420% damage to all enemies. And that's kind of cool that you can just, if you need healing, you can just set her off on 1 to try to get some healing out. And then if you don't need healing right now, on offense, you can just hold to try to do the big powerful punch. And if you do hit with a big powerful punch, you're going to give, if you go off with a 2x, you're going to have a 100% chance to give 10% mana to all allies. So not bad. And that's just her passive. Now let's look at I mean, you are going to want to 85 20 her. So let's see what she can do there. 953 attack, 906 defense, which is really high, really high. 1635 health, really high. And we kind of already saw her specials there as I talked about them. That 2x mana charge is no joke. It's really good. And if you need a little bit of healing, and her first, when the 1x mana charge goes off very fast. So she's a very fast 25% healer and cleanses on very fast. That's pretty good. So a lot of people are going number 1 Milena, number 2 Arco, and then they're saying no, no, and then if they have too many of Kara's already, then no. That's how a lot of people are seeing it. But if you have blue hitters, you already have Tethys, you already have Vila, you already have Costume. I have like 2 Costume. What's that blue that gives a lot of defensive down? Finley. I have 2 Costume Finleys. So I have Tethys, Vila, 2 Costume Finleys. I have Scotty from Fate Summons. So if you have a lot of blue hitters and you need 5-star green healers, Arco is super hard to get from summons, so you might as well get them in the soul exchange. So I would say number 1, well, I'll just give a tie for number 1s here, a tie for number 1 on 15 here. I'm not gonna judge the 10 stars because that literally goes depending on what your plans are for them. Somebody might say, oh, I love Grace, and somebody else will say, well, I already have 4 Graces. I will never pick a 5th Grace. I'm gonna go with one of the other 10s. I almost never recommend trading for 10s because you can just wait till the next soul exchange and try to get 15. And the 15s, these are not bad 15s actually. Dark Lord, great sniper. If you need purple snipers, perfect right there. And green, the Hatter has such a great specialty you can use all the time. So he's great there. And if you have 15 but you want to wait till next one for 20, you can do that. I mean, if they're starting to give really good heroes like Milena and Arco at 20, then that's an awesome thing to try to get. So those are my that's what I recommend. At 15, Dark Lord or the Hatter, and at 20, Arco and Milena. And that's all depends on who you want. I mean, if you already have Mother North, Red Tusker, Augustus, if you already have a lot of green 5-star healers, you might want to go Milena instead with 20. And so if you already have, if you only have for 15, and if you already have a lot of purples like I do, then you might not want to go Dark Lord. You might want to go the Hatter. And if people are switching from purple tanks to blue tanks, then the Hatter and Arco are awesome heroes to get. Grace is not bad. I just have 3 Graces already, so I don't really need to exchange 10 to try to get a 4th Grace. So that's the only reason I wouldn't get Grace, but it's up to you. But here are the ones I recommend: Milena, Arco, and at 15, Hatter and Dark Lord. All right. Well, I wish you luck in who you go get. And thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gives you a lot of good insight, a lot of good ideas. And for more videos like this, give us a like, and I appreciate subscribes. And I'll see you next time here at Wolf Dog Empire.